Okay, everyone, we are here with Gio Kvelidze. I'm sorry. Oh,
All good.
and he is the man behind a new documentary called On the Way Home, that is actually showing at Slamdance on Saturday, January 20th, 3:15. Gio, how are you, man?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, I'm well. So can you talk to me about your documentary On the Way Home?
Yes, the documentary On the Way Home is about two Georgian families that are having shelter in abandoned Soviet sanatoriums after a war in Georgia in 1992. Yeah, I mean, that's a log line, but the documentary itself is about like the human trauma and psychological, like psychologically what these people, the refugees go through and their lives and what kind of conditions they got to live after being expelled from their homes.
How did you end up telling this story? Why the story of these two families?
So I'm from Georgia, right? And I moved to the States in 2015, and in one of my trips back to Georgia, I had a chance to like travel around Georgia. So that was my first time to visit this town of Tskaltubo where the film is set. And I knew that there were refugees living in this town, but like I didn't know like many details how they lived and what kind of conditions they lived. But when I saw literally these two kids playing in a courtyard of one of those like almost destroyed sanatorium with their flip-flops on, hitting the soccer ball, and the man like smoking cigarette with his like very sad eyes, like I it really got me. It really got me. I was like, this has to be shown. And then I started researching, and there was no documentary about it, like nothing. And then like COVID started and decided to go and do it, and I had my friend, I was like very lucky, my friend, New York-based DP, Josh Brownruther, he was like, let me know if you need any help. And he just came with me to Georgia and we just did it together.
So you guys shot this during COVID?
Yes, yes.
Wow. So it was relatively isolated. You guys were in your own sort of bubble there. Um, it to me, it seems almost uh as much a story about finding home as it is what we make home. Wouldn't you think?
Exactly. Yes, yes. And even in the name, like on the way home, is very abstract. And like where is home for them, like they'll be living for 30 years in the sanatorium. Some people call it home. Some people got new apartments, like new renovated apartments from the government, but they're not moving because they're very used to living in the sanatorium, the hotels. So where is home? Like, do they feel it being at home right now? That's a big question. I don't think that they feel at home. They just have better conditions. I feel like their home is back in Abkhazia, where they were expelled from. And we have this quote kind of like from the film with Nikusha young boy says about his grandmother saying that every time I tell her I will buy you a new home, she tells me that she prefers the old one. So I guess the new apartments, new conditions, renovations won't help finding you a home. It's home where you, I guess, where you grew up, where you call home. So I guess like this specific people call home Abkhazia, which I don't think. Hopefully, they can go back one day.
Is that honestly the real question, is that ever attainable? I mean, you know,
Yeah,
that's
it's very hard.
something that
It's
yeah.
very hard. We Georgia as a Georgian and all the other Georgians, um, we still have the hope of one day going back and trying to reconcile with the people and the conflict itself is very hard to explain and it's very you know like hard anyways and but hopefully like the future generation can solve the problem and be like, hey, we are friends, let us come back in.
Yeah. Now, what's fascinating to me about documentary filmmaking in particular is shooting the subject without affecting the subject. How did you do that, or was that something that you even were concerned with?
I was concerned, of course, because I people like again, like not everybody wants to show like all the details of their lives, and they can be proud or whatever. They have sons or daughters, and they're like, oh, what are they gonna say when they're gonna see me what being like this, you know? But again, like I got very close relationship with these people. Very close relationship, meaning like I could like I talk to them very often, even now. When we were filming with them, not only me, like the DP Josh, the American guy who didn't speak any word in Georgian, got so close with these people, like because like he's a nice guy, he's like relatable. And our sound guy also, who's Georgian, it was three of us actually, like while in production. They also loved him. So it was kind of a like we were lucky to go to there, kind of be like, hey, we want to make this film. And they just starting to trust us after 2 or 3 weeks spending time with them. So after that, like there were some these things still where like, I would of course in the editing process, I would consider not including in the film because, maybe this is not ethical or et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So, and then I had the chance to show the film to a young boy and his grandmother, Nikusha and his grandmother, and I was very nervous, but they loved it. We got very emotional. His mother is back to Georgia, yeah, from Turkey actually, like 2 weeks ago she came back for good, and we all saw the film, and we all got very emotional, and it was a very sweet moment.
Uh, is it as far as being on the ground, getting to know these people, and is there a moment, is there a point in the film that just seared into your memory, that 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 you'd like to share?
Um, yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, would you say from the film or like whatever stayed
Well, from
besides
the
the film?
film in particular.
Yeah. Well, from the film, my like one of the moments, like Iamze, the old little lady says about there's a little mouse in her room where she lives, and she's like, I feed her or I feed it. Like I'm not gonna try to kill it because I have a dead son and like I don't want to kill anything, you know. I know what like death feels like, and I don't want him to, I guess, like experience the same thing. So that was very touchy, and like I was like, whoa. And then the same thing with the young boy who mm, uh, really, really like he grew up in Tskaltubo, this town, and uh, he still appreciates what he has. Like he says this in the film that he's like thankful, and there are some people who are like in a worse situation than he is. So things like that are to me that to the world, and like even to myself when I get mad or whatever. Sometimes I just remind myself that hey, just chill, everything's great, and start appreciating things in life and around you. Those kind of things really help to like understand who you are and what people are around you. So these kind of moments like get you and they get me.
Is that basically the message you want to get across with this documentary?
Not only that, those are little embedded messages that I would love people to get it out of the film. But the main thing, of course, is the refugee problem and the people who are very like you know struggling from this. And it's not only Georgia, it's not only these 200,000 people who lost their homes, but like Ukraine, and then the same things happen. Like Russia's doing the same thing again, and somewhere else, like everywhere else where the refugees are, these people are like in a very bad situation, and they didn't do anything. And all these political decisions, they're the ones that get sacrificed, and it's not fair. And I just want to, not only like outside of Georgia, even like me, and I'm not a refugee, right? So before I started delving into these people's lives, I didn't know much about them. Like like their details of their lives, like what they went through. So I also want like my fellow Georgians to be like, hey, these people had lives, and now you have a house. God forbid, like something might happen that tomorrow you won't have it. So like those experiences that we should learn from other people's lives.
I guess my last question is you know, aside from your fellow Georgians, who would you want to see this movie? Who was this movie made for to get across the point?
This movie was made for every human that would it reach to. If this movie reaches to any human, any corner of the world, it's for them. It's for anybody and everybody because I feel like we all humans are, like we are all humans and we have this in common. So it doesn't matter like where you live or who you are, we are still humans. So we try to like kind of know that these kind of people exist. Yeah, it doesn't matter where you are at all. Like if the movie reaches you and you start watching it, it's for you.
So to think beyond boundaries and borders and beyond one's immediate needs, uh, and be concerned. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
excellent. Well, Gio, thank you so much for taking the time to
Thank
chat.
you, Lord. Thank you very much.
And again, everybody, I'm gonna try this one again. Gio Kvelidze, his film, it was okay. His film, his film On the Way Home, is going to be playing at Slamdance on January 20th at 3:15 p.m. Suggest you take a look at it. Gio, thank you so much for the time and best of luck.
Thank you so much. And thank you really for having me. It's a pleasure. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
okay. Thanks.